So guys, Nigerians can't wait anymore to see the end of this administration. I mean, Nigerians are already tired with this APC government because we can't believe what our eyes are seeing currently in Nigeria. Things are really going out of hand. Let me allow you see the take of some of our prominent lawyers. Just listen to this video.
Trailing the breakdown of law and order, which occurred at the Federal High Court in Ikoyi on Tuesday, following the rearrest of the suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, by the Department of State Services, despite being granted a 20 million naira bail. The presiding judge, Nicholas Owebo, ruled that the embattled CBN governor be remanded at the correctional center pending the fulfillment of his bail conditions, but operatives of the secret police insisted on taking Emefiele into their custody, which ultimately led to an all-out brawl between heavily armed DSS operatives and officials of the Nigerian Correctional Service. Many reactions have trailed this story. Let me take one from Daniel Bola, who wrote, This happened today in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Actually, this happened yesterday. Anybody who wears the uniform symbolizes the authority of the Republic and walks in the name of the President, who is the head of the Republic. Those who assault law enforcement are liable to prosecution by our law. Alas, this was done to him by his comrades in the law enforcement platform, allegedly while he was carrying out a lawful order. What a sad day. Well, in the meantime, George Emefiele, brother to the suspended governor of the Central Bank, who attended the hearing and witnessed the brawl, called it a complete disgrace.
It is disheartening that we have a government that came in through democratic process. We have a government that believes in democracy. We have a government that understands the rule of law. I remember vividly well when DSS invaded EFCC office. It took less than 12 hours for the president to give order that DSS should vacate the EFCC office. Why can't he do the same here? I remember very well when I was in secondary school, the Nadeco period. I knew how the current president fought the military through Nadeco. He fought to Tunnel. He fought the military, telling the military to obey the rules and regulations of the law, the constitutional law. Here we are today. 3 courts have said release him on bail. He's not running away, for God's sake. And you can imagine a situation where 2 military, federal government military apparatus are fighting themselves, manhandling the commander of the prison commission. It is a disgrace to this nation. It is a complete disgrace. Complete disgrace. How else are we going to describe this? What is the fate of the poor man if this is happening today to somebody that served a nation for 9 good years? My brother is not going to run away. He served this nation for 9 good years. And is this the way you are going to treat somebody that served a nation for 9 good years? To pay him back in this way? This is not fair. We are all Nigerians.
Well, let me take another tweet. This is from Inibehe Effiong. He wrote, The SSS has recorded yet another point in its long list of infamy and impunity. The show of shame at the Federal High Court in Lagos is a vindication of those of us who have said time and time again that this so-called law enforcement agency is nothing but a political and partisan tool in the hands of every occupant of Asro Rock. It is very disgusting to see the crude desecration of the Federal High Court in Lagos by the SSS. The court ordered that Emefiele should be remanded in the correctional center, but the reckless and lawless SSS, in its usual character, went after Emefiele in flagrant violation of the order of the court. Such despicable sight should not be tolerated in a constitutional democracy. Mr. Tinubu retained Mr. Bichi as the DG of SSS because Bichi is ever willing to deploy the agency to witch hunt Tinubu's perceived political foes. When Godwin Emefiele was suspended as the CBN governor, many Nigerians wrongly assumed that his suspension was aimed at holding him accountable for his terrible monetary policies and any infraction he may have committed under the corrupt Buhari regime. However, all that the government has been able to come up with so far are two ridiculous and dubious charges of illegal possession of firearms, while Asari Dokubo, who has publicly displayed assault rifle, is busy raising a private army and walking freely. The SSS shamelessly went after Emefiele over possession of primitive guns. Tinubu must accept responsibility for the invasion of the court. The judiciary is now at the mercy of a lawless agency of executive arm of government. I call on the judiciary to rise up and defend its integrity and independence. Well, a member of Lawyers in Defense of Democracy, Okere Kingdom, asked the federal government to apologize to Emefiele for labeling him a terrorist and called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to remove the DG of DSS, Yusuf Bichi, for being incompetent.
You labeled him a terrorist, then he must apologize. Then we ask, you are charging him for possession of firearms when Asari Dokubo is displaying his AK-47. Have you arrested Asari Dokubo? Recruiting militants, threatening to kill the entire Southeast people. You have not arrested him because he's doing your own bidding. Now you are coming to arrest Emefiele for possessing firearms. What about the bandits in the bush, in Sambisa? What about the bandits along Kaduna, Abuja-Kaduna Road? How many of them have they arrested? The bandits that are parading AK-47, how many of them have they arraigned for possessing AK-47? They don't know where the bandits are. If they don't know where the bandits are, don't they know the man who goes to visit the bandits and come out? Don't they know him? He goes to visit the bandits in the bush and come out. How many of those bandits in the bush that are having AK-47 has the DSS arraigned? How many? Because Emefiele is from the southeast, or because he's from the south, that bears him on them. We must prosecute them. We must suppress them. In a country, you say we are united and our unity is our diversity. You just talk, you don't walk the talk. In this country, rule of law must be entrenched. That is why we are here. He must apologize to Emefiele. DSS is not the law. They are established by a piece of legislation. This is a country that runs on law, on rule of law. The constitution is our ground norm. That is what we are saying. The constitution has stipulated that there are three arms of government: executive, legislature, and judiciary. That is why we are crying out. Rule of law must be entrenched. That is the issue. It's not about Yusuf Magaji. He cannot give an order from his office to counter the court. He doesn't have that power. He doesn't. No matter the rifle he's playing parade, Magaji Yusuf, the DG of DSS, does not have the power to counter court order. He doesn't have the power. That's what we are saying. He's not established by himself. He's established by a piece of legislation. A piece of legislation that is not more than the constitution. That is what we are crying out for. Tinubu sack this man. This man will give your government a bad image. This man will give your government a bad reputation. He has started with lawlessness, impunity. Look at the way they handled the officer of the Nigerian Correctional Service. Is that what we should expect in this country? We will continue to talk. Tinubu, you have started on a wrong note. The man you have left as DSS Director General is bringing disorderliness in the judicial system. He's desecrating the institution. Remove him, he's incompetent.
Let me take one more. I know Kingdom was here earlier this morning. I'll take a final tweet from Kalu, who wrote, Emefiele brought this all on himself. Don't blame politicians for wasteful spending. It's their default setting. Emefiele, however, was protected by law, but he not only broke the law that protected him, he actually ran for office. Yes, he has been dumped, but he gambled the office of the central bank governor for political favor and lost. Today, he's dressed like a priest with a holy book, a teachable moment, not to mock, but to learn. There are many Emefieles locking, waiting, seeking who to devour for vainglory. God help us all not to be too tempted. P.S. Don't get me wrong, this trial is a farce. Their objective is to run out the 10 o'clock on Emefiele because legally the president can't remove and replace him before his term is up. The DSS can only do this because to the international financial community, Emefiele is not an independent central bank governor, but a politically exposed person. If Emefiele remained within the confines of the CBN Act and got arrested, Nigeria would have been blacklisted from the credit markets. Fine.
I mean, a lot to say as regards this, and Kalu has also put in a dimension to this as regards the political dimension. And I think we have also said many things hitherto as regards, and I think out here when that issue was brought forward as regards running for president, you know, my condemnation was clear, my position was clear as regards that, because monetary policy is something else, presidency is something else. And, you know, even despite the fact that some people try to put a lot of argument forward, I took a very strong stand on that matter. But what we're talking about here is the rule of law.
Absolutely.
The fact that the rule of law is constantly desecrated in the country. And Emefiele is not the first issue. There's another one already pending, the case of Bola, that nobody has said anything about. So we have cases like this, that the DSS fragrantly breaks, you know, the rule of law. A judge has ruled something, they go contrary, and we see all the commotion, the tussle, the calisthenics, call it whatever name. But the question we keep saying is, and this is to President Tinubu, you fought for democracy in this country. You mobilized. Abacha was the tyrannical dictator then. Why can't we allow the rule of law have a foothold in our country? Why will the DSS be above the laws of the same land you fought for? What the DSS is doing at this point in time, please, can you point out to me how it's different from the flagrant disrespect for the rule of law General Sani Abacha did in his time?
Absolutely. Dr. Abati, Kingdom has called for the replacement of DSS DG. We saw Emefiele's brother there saying that Emefiele has served this country for 9 years, and this is how they treat him. If he was a poor man, an ordinary man, he wonders what would be happening to him under DSS custody.
Okay, I thought it was David Livingstone who said that the rule of law and the independence of the judiciary are both the cornerstones of our democracy. So these are the two major issues signposted by this incident: the rule of law and the independence of the judiciary are the heart of democracy. And that is why I think it's instructive that the president of the Nigerian Bar Association has issued a statement saying that, look, the Nigerian Bar Association is for the rule of law. And what happened at the court premises yesterday will amount to a recipe for anarchy and chaos.
Absolutely.
And I think that, you know, Kingdom Okere, who was on this program earlier on, is also right. As we too have all agreed before now, that the buck stops at the desk of President Tinubu.
Absolutely.
After
How can a president who does not even still know his fate yet allow the DSS to do the kind of thing they did? So guys, it all started with Buhari's government. We all know how Buhari's government ignored so many court orders, and the APC has continued on their trend. We know that this is their way of governance, as in the rule of law does not mean anything to them, and that is why the Nigerian people are already tired of this administration. We can't wait to get rid of them, because Nigeria really wants to breathe, you know, a fresh air, and that is all we want at this moment. No doubt the judiciary will understand the plea of the Nigerian people. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Thank you.